Hello. Last month I went to the Three Counties Showground to have a behind the scenes look at the Malvern Autumn Show. I'm Zorab and this is Byther Farm. I'm here in the inner sanctum of the Three Counties Showground. This is Walton. She's really kindly offered to talk to me about the
Malvern Autumn Show.
Malvern, and I've said this the wrong way around so many times. It's the Malvern Autumn Show. So, can you tell me a bit of history about the Autumn Show?
Yes, we're really excited because it's 25 years this year, and I'm one of the few people who actually worked at the very first Malvern Autumn Show because I have a family connection here. My uncle was the chief executive of the Three Counties Agricultural Society while I was growing up, and I used to be on the showground all weekends. I've watched it develop over the years, so to be in the really privileged position I'm in now to head up the shows here is really exciting.
That's amazing.
It is.
So what were you doing at the first show?
Catalogue selling.
Fab!
So there's been
starting at the ground up, yeah.
Yeah, there's been a bit of progression, and as I say, I'm really lucky to hold the position I am in now, but I really only do a tiny amount of what goes on because I've got an amazing team that put together exciting shows.
Yeah. So the Autumn Show isn't your only show here, there's
No.
more than one.
Yeah, we're quite a busy little gang. We as a society hold 8 events here, 7 of which I head up. So we are always on a rota of shows and at least 12 months to plan each one. So we go into every show looking for ideas for the next year, looking how we might improve, and we really are a team that strive to improve year on year. And we made some really significant changes to the Malvern Autumn Show last year, which I'm pleased to say were really well received, and we are continuing to improve again this year.
Okay, so what sort of changes were there?
Well, one of the most popular aspects of any floral show, I must say, but particularly here at Malvern, are the floral marquees. Mm-hmm. And last year at Malvern Autumn Show, it was the first time we had a dedicated floral marquee, and it was very, very popular, both with the nurseries and the public.
So in a floral marquee, is it just flower arrangement? I do know this. So it's not just flower arrangement, is it?
At Malvern Autumn Show we have 40 nurseries, 41 displays by 40 nurseries in there, and they are being judged by the RHS. Yeah. So the level of expertism is huge. It's a complete wow factor when you walk in there. Slightly unusually, in our floral marquee at Malvern Autumn Show, we also have a theatre, and within that theatre we invite our celebrities and special guests in, and they will come in and the audience can ask lots of questions.
Brilliant. There may be a team of YouTubers. So myself, Hugh Richards, Vivi from What 50 Is Next, and Jane Kelly will be answering questions on Sunday afternoon at 2 o'clock. Please keep the questions nice.
Please keep them really interesting.
So that's brilliant. And then will people have the opportunity to buy? This is not just looking, is it?
No, it's a really good point. Yes, the sales at these shows are fantastic. Not only the 40 nurseries that are within the floral marquee, we have 15 plant nurseries outside of there. We have another nursery that's in our wellbeing garden, and we also have so many trade stands on the showground that you are going to have a struggle to fit everything into one day.
So I came up to the spring show and I couldn't believe what bargains I got. I was really strict with myself. I only came away with 2 things, but I couldn't believe a huge piece of agapanthus for £10, and it was just amazing. What an amazing thing to be able to get, having wanted one for so long, to just find one at a really good price.
Well, that's lovely to hear, and I'm pleased to hear that, and I think you'll also hopefully have found at all our shows that you are talking to experts and they are delighted to help you.
Their stuff.
Absolutely,
really
yeah. One thing I should have mentioned, of course, is our bulb market that's also here at Malvern Autumn Show, because obviously it's the time of year to be buying your bulbs, and we've got 5 dedicated bulb exhibitors here.
Fantastic. So we're literally going to be able to stock up the garden. So for me, this is going to mean buying bulbs for the lawn border in front of the polytunnel, because it hasn't got any bulbs in it at all. So that's going to be really exciting. So one of the other things I wanted to ask you about was, you were saying about the changes that have happened over time. Have there been changes in terms of what you're doing at the shows, reflecting on our newer knowledge of environmental impact? You know, we all know as gardeners that the way we garden and what we do can have an impact, and is that now reflected in the shows?
Absolutely. I mean, as a showground in ourselves, it's something we're very conscious of. We're always striving for better. We are already accredited to the 14001 scheme, which ensures that we are environmentally friendly. But there's a lot more we can do. We're at the moment looking to bring, working with our caterers to make sure that the equipment they are using is not single use. It's show-wide throughout the country. We've all facing the same issues. There is a lot of plastic still within the industries, but we have to put it right, and we will do.
Brilliant. That's really great news. So I'm not just asking Di any old questions. Some of these have been sent.
Some of them are scripted.
Some of these have been sent to me to ask by Hugh and Vivian.
Oh, good.
And Jane.
Okay.
So
good.
It's not just it's me. This grilling is coming from them.
I can't wait to meet you there as well.
So Jane asked what has been the most popular attraction over the years.
I would say the spectacle that is the Harvest Pavilion has been here from the very first show and is amazing for anybody that has little knowledge or are total experts. In here we've got 1,800 entries of homegrown produce.
Oh, fantastic.
So it's not just vegetables, it's also flowers as well. And the perfection, I'm sure you can appreciate it, is amazing. So I'd say that's probably one of the most popular attractions, but I would be remiss if I didn't also throw in here about our giant vegetables.
Yes.
Because we do host the Canna UK National Championships for giant vegetables, and we regularly have world records broken here.
Wow.
So we have the Guinness Book of Records at the event in a few weeks' time to make sure everything is catalogued, and yeah, it's always a very photogenic marquee.
Brilliant. Are there show gardens like there are at the spring show?
No, this is where this show is quite different from the spring. So there's obviously a complete core of gardening at the Malvern Autumn Show, but there's also so much more that goes on at this show,
right.
Whereas RHS Malvern Spring Festival is a much more dedicated gardening show.
Yes.
So we don't have show gardens at Malvern Autumn Show.
But you've got your permanent gardens.
We've got our permanent
gardens. We're going to go out and
gardens.
have a look at those in a minute.
Yes, I look forward to going around those with you. And there's so many other things that's actually, it's a cross between possibly RHS Malvern Spring Festival and Royal Three Counties Show, because we've got our world of animals here, we've got our giant veg here, we've got our vintage village here. So there really is something for every member of the family.
So we are now going to head outside and look at some of the permanent gardens that are here, and have a look at the area that's going to be completely transformed over the next couple of weeks into the Malvern Autumn Show.
Yeah, well, it's been great to talk to you, Liz, and I can't wait to show you around the showground. I think you'll see it quite differently now from your last visit, which is in a show time, but it also emphasises just what goes on in the weeks leading up to a show.
Yeah. It's really nice to be shown around the grounds, and while they're completely empty, they look completely different. We've come into this, which is one of the permanent gardens here. This isn't the only permanent garden, is it?
No, we've got 4 or 5 permanent gardens on site now. We often work with charities and try to help them. This year we've been working with a charity called the Forest of Hearts, and at a show earlier this year they created this wellbeing garden, and some of it was relocated to Stratford General Hospital afterwards.
Oh, nice.
But it's in the little transition stage at the moment, and we're working closely with John Cunningham, who will be preparing it for Malvern Autumn Show in a few weeks' time.
Fabulous. So this is almost like a sensory garden, isn't it? So there's lots of textures, lots of smells in it.
It is. Originally we put it here to work with Pathways Day Service, and we're delighted to support this service. They have some adult learners who come on site twice a week, and we have a permanent classroom here, and they come into this garden and they help maintain it year round. But you're right, there's a lot of sensory planting in here, and it's a really tranquil place to be. Okay, so we're now stood next to the stone bottle fountain garden, and as you may know, Malvern's really famous for its water, and until 2010 there was a bottling plant over at Colwell, but unfortunately when it closed down we were lucky enough to inherit the fountain, and that's been located here and makes a beautiful corner and an entrance to our main south gate. It's a place where not many people will stop because they're the excitement of getting in the show. Yeah. They want to be into the show, but it's an area which, as a member of staff, we will come down and appreciate possibly more than the visitors do. It's absolutely beautiful, isn't it? It's been an absolute feature that all our visitors have loved all year round. It was designed by a local designer, Mark Evely, and he took his inspiration from a Victorian Malvern, and the structure behind me was actually based on St Anne's Well, which is a beautiful local attraction, and we are very lucky to have it here, and it's remained here, and as I say, every show people come and have a look.
It's really cute. It's also really calm, isn't it?
Really calm, and
that's just the trees.
I think
the maturity of the trees and it.
Yes, you're probably absolutely spot on, and there's a secret little office in there, which sometimes if you just need a bit of peace and quiet from inside, if you just pop out here, no one knows where you are and you get a little bit of thinking time.
Oh, that's nice. It feels really well bedded into the environment.
And I think Mark, as a designer, would love to hear those comments, because that absolutely represents what he does. He's a huge supporter of the shows, and he very much works with the natural environment.
So I can see now just how vast the space it is. When it was absolutely full of people for this spring show, you almost couldn't see where you were going, and you just had to almost work it by feel. And right now they're putting up the first pavilion, which is where the grow section will be, the giant veg. So I'm really excited to see what's going on in there at the end of the month. If you'd like to see that full conversation I had with Diane, please click the link up here or in the information below, and it will take you straight to that full-length video.